Ain't nothing better than watching you smile. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ain't nothing better than watching you laugh out loud, my baby. Ain't nothing better than watching you be you. Ain't nothing better than right now. In your eyes lie the secrets I don't wanna miss. Put your hand.
Hi, darling. So glad you could join me for dinner. Thank you. Yes, I have an excellent vintage here for us to enjoy with our dinner. Good year. Yes, I do have a YouTube page. Trepacer is what they call me. I have a couple hundred subs and couple of hundred videos. As you can see, my vast collection all around us should make for an interesting evening. Okay, so glad you could join me. You look lovely, by the way. So glad you could join me again. Thank you. I really, truly appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Sorry. You caught me at I was entertaining. I'll be right back, darling. I have somebody just stepped in. You just go powder your nose, and we'll resume. We'll pick up where I left off in a few minutes. Just take your time. Oh, I'm sorry. You caught me at a most entertaining guest. But since you're here and since it's Saturday night, why don't I continue my tradition of reviewing movies for you? I'm going to review 2 movies for you since you're here, and I'll get this over real quick so I can go back to my nice romantic evening. I'm going to be reviewing 2 movies, and in this case, it's going to be 2 animated movies. The first one is Finding Nemo, okay, a Disney Pixar movie. Came out in, I believe, in 1993. Very good movie, very popular Pixar movie. And the basic story of this one is about a clownfish played by Albert Brooks. In the beginning of the movie, they show him and his fish wife. They're parents, about to become parents of a couple of hundred eggs, and of course, a tragedy occurs, and at the end of it, Marlin, who plays by Albert Brooks, his character is left with 1 single egg to raise, and he names it Nemo, and that's the name that his late wife wanted to name the babies. So he names the one remaining son that he has Nemo. Okay, and he raises, and of course, he's an overly protective father. He's and the son is about to start school, so of course he escorts his son to school, and he's extremely overly protective. And his son wants to show that he can do things on his own, of course. And his son has one little tiny fin, I guess, and the other one is a normal one. And of course, his son, on the way to school, while he's in school, okay, the kids, him, Nemo, and a couple of the other kids, they venture out to where they see a boat, and they kind of dare themselves to go far and get as close to the boat as possible. And of course, the father, Albert Brooks, Marlin, who's overly protective, he's following, and he sees this, and he like goes nuts, and he's yelling at his son, saying, "No, don't do. Are you crazy? You don't know these things that can hurt you out there." And he's like I say, he's extremely overly protective. And of course, his son says what most young kids say when their parents are overly protective, that they hate them, of course. And then through his son trying to prove himself that he doesn't need his father's protection, he gets too close to the boat, and when he gets captured by a diver, okay, and that's where the plot begins. And of Finding Nemo, it's basically again about the father, Marlin, trying to hunt down his son and find his son Nemo, okay. And basically, their only clue is I guess you could call it goggles that has like the I guess the address of the place where where the diver works, and joining him on this adventure is a fish called Dory, played by Ellen DeGeneres. And let me just say again, this movie is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen on Blu-ray. This movie was just designed for Blu-ray, and it's just absolutely breathtaking the amount of detail that the filmmakers went into putting this movie together. It looks visually stunning, and the story has a lot of heart to it. And like I said, I love Ellen DeGeneres. To me, she was like the MVP of this movie. Her character is a little goofy. She has short-term memory problems, but she's absolutely fantastic. You know, with her and Albert Brooks, you know, and they go through these series of adventures trying to find his son Nemo. You know, they meet these sharks that are trying to basically stop eating fish. They're trying to rehab themselves. They meet a turtle, a cool surfing turtle, you know, kind of like a surfer dude type of turtle. They meet all these weird characters along the way, and they also show Nemo, who gets, like I said, captured by a diver who turns out to be a dentist, who puts him in a fish tank he has in his office, and where he has a bunch of other fish that he's captured in the tank with him, and he's planning on giving Nemo to his niece, who's a little psychotic. She's a little girl with braces, and she's a little crazy. You know, one of these crazy girls that doesn't mean to really harm fish, but she always ends up whining, hurting the fish anyway, just in her, I guess, her over exuberance. But this movie, like I said, is just a great family film. It has a lot of cute moments in this, great comedy, and like I said, a lot of heart. This is one of the best Disney Pixar movies I've ever seen. And like I said, visually, this movie is just breathtaking. The underwater scenes are just fantastic. And like I said, Ellen DeGeneres to me is the MVP of this movie. She is absolutely hilarious. And I like the shark too, who was trying to go straight when not eating fish. He was just hilarious. I think his name is Bruce, and he was just outstanding. And I definitely recommend that. Like I said, a lot of people told me, you know, saying, "Oh, you got to see Finding Nemo. You got to see Finding Nemo," and it's definitely worth seeing. It's just a fantastic movie, one of the best Pixar movies I've ever seen. Okay, so definitely worth seeing. Okay, now the next movie that I'm going to review is called ParaNorman. I didn't see this movie. I know this had came out earlier this year, and I saw the trailers for it. It looked intriguing, but I never got around to seeing it. And basically, this movie is about a guy named Norman. It says ParaNorman, you know, paranormal, parapsychology. But Norman, played by this guy right there, that kid right there with the stand-up hair. He basically, it's a story about him growing up in this small New England town. And of course, he's a loner, and he likes horror movies and stuff, and he talks to his grandma all the time. And he has a sister, older sister. He has a mother and a father. And he's kind of ostracized because he has a gift. He has a gift that he can see dead people, and he actually talks to them. So of course, you know, people think he's weird, and of course the kids pick on him. Of course, they think he's a freak. Of course, so he basically kind of resigned to this, you know, to accept his fate of what he is. You know, that he can see dead people, even though he doesn't want to. And it's just, anyway, the main thrust of this movie is he has an uncle, a kind of a crazy uncle that can also see dead people. Okay, and he comes to him one day and warns him that he has to take up basically the mantle of, because there's a curse on the town, ancient curse that happened many years ago, well, hundreds of years ago, where the seven people in the town, they cursed this witch for being a witch. You know, they murdered her for being a witch. Okay, and she put a curse on them. Okay, and they're supposed to, you know, that they're supposed to come back as zombies. The seven who condemned her, they're supposed to come back as zombies, and of course, and terrify the town. Of course, and Norman has to get the book, the special book that his uncle has, and he has to go to the grave site of the seven and read it. Okay, to keep the zombies from coming attacking everybody. Okay, now this is a stop motion movie, and it starts off a little slow, but once it gets going, it's really good, and it has two twists in it that I don't want to reveal because I think that would take away the enjoyment of the movie. But there's two twists that I think are very good, and the animation, you know, in the scary, when it gets, like I said, this has, you know, a lot of comedy in it, but towards the end of the movie, it gets kind of deadly serious, and the animation is absolutely breathtaking. It has some great special effects. And the story, once you find out the twist in the story, it kind of changes your whole perception of the zombies and the witch character. It's a decent movie. I would give it a 7 for sure. I think it's like I said, it's slow in the beginning, but once it gets started, because in the beginning it starts off with a typical thing where it shows you a typical story of a loner kid that likes horror and all this stuff, and he's getting bullied and stuff, and then you find out, of course, that he sees dead people, which is a little twist, and of course, and then you think it's going to go one way, but like I said, towards the end, there's a twist in it that I didn't see coming, of course, which kind of gives this movie a little bit more weight and makes it more serious. But it's really, really good when towards the end of the movie. It just really gets good, and the animation, like I said, in those scenes towards the middle end are really, really good. Okay, and I can see why this was seeing this, especially if you turn off the lights and watch this, and the animation looks absolutely breathtaking. I know they did a lot of stop motion on this, but towards the end it looks absolutely. There's a lot of really frightening moments in this towards the end of the movie, but it's really enjoyable, and I would definitely recommend you pick it up. I got it because I saw the trailer and it intrigued me, but like I said, there's a nice twist in it that I didn't see coming, which is really good actually. The twist is really good in it, and it's really intense. And the story, the real story, is really sort of touching. And I would definitely recommend ParaNorman. You get that on Blu-ray. Definitely worth getting. So those are the 2 movies that I'm going to review today. Of course, Finding Nemo, the Disney Pixar movie, which is really, really breathtaking on Blu-ray. And like I said, it's a good family movie about father and son and the search for, basically their search to find each other and to get back to each other, and really touching. And like I said, Ellen DeGeneres, I think, is just perfect in her part. She was just absolutely fantastic as Dory. She was just great and hilarious to me. Okay, and I love the sharks too. They were just fantastic. Okay. And again, ParaNorman, again, another, this is more of a horror, comedy, animated movie, and it's, like I said, it really gets intense towards the end of it, and good voice acting in this also as well. Okay, very good. So I definitely would recommend both movies. Okay, so let me know what you think of these titles that I got. Feel free to leave your comments down below. And I'm going to get back to my dinner. Excuse me, let me set the music again. Okay. I'm sorry, I just had to, review movies for my friends on my channel. But let's get back to you and me. Yeah, for a sec.